Welcome to the second episode about the English Football League tables. Today I'll be looking at the tables from the Premier League and the Championship and talking a little bit about what I think is going to happen at the end of the season. So yeah, let's just get straight into it. The table is split up into 7 groups. The first one only has Chelsea in it, and that's because they're so far away of the other teams like Tottenham and the teams below them that I don't think they're ever going to lose the title this season. I do think Chelsea have got this one. They're 10 points clear from Tottenham with 10 games left, so it's pretty obvious that no one is really going to catch them soon. The next group is between Spurs, Man City and Liverpool. These 3 teams are quite obviously going to get into the Champions League. Man United are behind Liverpool, but I don't think that Man United will catch up to them because of how many games Liverpool have won and how many points they have at the moment. Man United do have 2 games in hand, so maybe they can win twice and catch up to them, but I really don't think that's going to happen. There's a little bit of competition in this group though, because whoever finishes 4th has to do the Champions League playoffs instead of going right to the group stages. Yeah, so that means that they're going to have to play a little bit more in the Champions League, and no one really wants that, so they're going to hope to not get 4th place. The third group has a group of 3 again, and that's Man United, Arsenal and Everton, and they are competing for the Europa League. So whoever finishes 5th in this group gets to go to the Europa League. Right now it is looking like Man United will get it. Everton, they might be able to do it, but they've had 2 more games than Arsenal and Man United, and Arsenal aren't really looking that good at the moment. You can see they've won 1 game out of the last 5, so I definitely think Man United will get the Europa League spot. So this is a weird group. This has only West Brom in it, and you can have a look at the points there. You can see that Everton have 7 points more than them with 20 times better goal difference, 21 times better goal difference actually, and you can see the team below them, which is Stoke City, have a goal difference 10 times worse and 7 points less as well. So that basically means that between Everton and Stoke, which are the 7th and 9th positions in the table, there's a 14-point gap, which is a very, very big gap in that part of the table. From other Premier League seasons and stuff, you can see that West Brom, when they get to about 40 points, they just stop and don't really do anything much from that. You can see about 3 games ago, they got to the 40-point mark, lost the last 2, and then they've won their last game against Arsenal. They don't really try after they get to 40 points. The average amount of points from a relegated team, so if you get 18th in the league, is 36 points. And West Brom, when they get 40, they're definitely safe from relegation for that season. So they don't really try after that, but that's because they don't want to keep working, I guess, to try and get first, because they know they're never going to do that. So yeah, that was the No Man's Land group. Below them, or just below West Brom, is the mid-table scramble. This is from Stoke to West Ham. So this has 4 teams in it. Stoke have 36 points, the rest have 33. Southampton have 2 games in hand, so they might be able to use that to get 39 points, I'm not sure. They're at least 9 points away from relegation. You can see Hull City have 24 points, they have 33, so they're looking pretty good at the moment. They can't really climb higher than West Brom, like that's sort of the cut-off point. The teams in there, even if they start winning quite a lot of games, I don't think they can overtake West Brom, and I don't think West Brom can overtake Everton, so I think they have a pretty strong 8th position, West Brom do, and so do the mid-table scramble group. The next group is called the Watch Out for Relegation Zone group. It has 3 teams, Leicester, Watford and Burnley, and they all have around about 31 points. As I said before, 36 points is normally the cut-off point for the relegation zone. So right now, if they win a few more games really soon, then I think they'll be out of danger really quickly. Leicester City have won 3 games in a row, so right now they're doing pretty good. Watford and Burnley only got 1 point from the last 3 games, which definitely isn't good if they're trying to get away from the relegation zone. Now we go on to the last group. It's the biggest one with 5 teams in it, and this is the relegation battle group. I think 3 of the 5 teams in this group will go down. It might be Crystal Palace, even though they've won 3 games in a row, so it probably won't be them. But, you know, the teams in that group, I think they will go down. Not too sure which one though. I would say Sunderland, Middlesbrough and Swansea. is who are, they're the teams that I would say are most likely to go down. I'm not sure. Sunderland are 7 points away from safety, which definitely isn't looking very good for them. But with 10 games left, they can have a possible 30 more points, so that's 50 altogether, if they win all of their next 10 matches. It seems unlikely that they'll do that, but in the 2014-15 season, which was about 2 years ago, Leicester City was 7 points down, which is the same as Sunderland, but they had a game more than them. So with 29 games, Leicester City was 7 points from 17th place. So Sunderland could definitely do what Leicester City did 2 years ago. That Leicester City got 22 out of 27 possible points. So I'm not saying that it will happen to Sunderland, but because Leicester did it, I don't see why Sunderland can't. Now we go into the Championship table. I've split the table into 6 parts, and the first one are the teams that are competing for automatic promotion. There are 8 games left in the league, and Brighton are 6 points clear of Huddersfield. Huddersfield do have a game in hand, so it's unlikely that they'll overtake Brighton, but they can still do it. Reading are 5 points clear of Sheffield Wednesday, so they might not get to the automatic promotion spots, but they'll definitely stay in the playoff spot. Then it's the 4 teams that are competing for their last playoff spot. Sheffield Wednesday have it at the moment, but they're 1 point ahead of Fulham. They have a better goal difference, and so far the last 10 games I think they have more points as well. So I think that at the end of the season, Fulham will overtake Sheffield Wednesday. Yeah, so I guess I've included Preston and Norwich because their last 2 games they have done better than Sheffield Wednesday and Fulham. Norwich and Preston both had 4 points from the last 2 games. Fulham have had 1 and Sheffield Wednesday have had 0. So they're definitely catching up, but I don't think they'll get there in the end. The third group then is called the Mid-Table Scramble, and that's the biggest group, and it has 6 teams in it. I made this group quite big because you can see if QPR there in 15th can win a game, then they'll go to the 10th. If their goal difference is better than Derby, they can go to the 10th spot in the Mid-Table Scramble. So the bottom team in there can get to the top team in the group. So it's quite a big group, I guess, but the points are really similar for all of them. The next game that comes out after this video will actually be QPR vs Derby, and that's Friday 31st of March that game is. And hopefully, if this video comes out when it should, which is in 6 days, it should be 25th of March I think. This should come out, so in 6 days if you're watching this on the first day, Derby and QPR are playing each other. If Derby win the game against QPR, I think I'll put them in the group above, which is the competing for the playoff spot group. But if QPR win, then it will all stay the same. And if it's a draw as well, it will all stay the same. Then we have No Man's Land. This is a group of 3. It's the second smallest. And it just has the teams of 45 points. So that's Wolves, Ipswich and Birmingham. If you look at the last 10 games, they have an average of 10 points across all of them. Birmingham have 8, I think. Ipswich have 10 and Wolverhampton have 13. You can see Wolverhampton have 1 game in hand, just like Huddersfield. They're the only 2 teams that have played 37. Every other team played 38. The goal difference for Wolves is really good, actually, for where they are. They've got -2, which isn't too bad. Birmingham have -16, Ipswich have -9. So, you know, they're looking really bad. Birmingham the second worst in the league, so that's not very good for them. Now we go to the relegation battle. This is between Burton, Blackburn, Nottingham and Bristol. You can see they all have the same amount of points except for Blackburn, and they have 1 less. I think at the end of the season Burton will be relegated because their goal difference isn't that good, and in their last game they lost, but every other team got a point or they won, like Bristol. I really don't think Burton are looking too strong at the moment. They haven't won a lot of games, they haven't scored a lot of goals, and I don't think that they can manage to stay in the Championship much longer. And then we get to the relegated teams. Now this is Rotherham and Wigan. Wigan are only 6 points away from Blackburn, but there's 8 games left, so I don't really see them getting out of it. And Rotherham are just really far behind, so I don't think they can get out of it. But technically they can get out, because there's 8 games left. That's a total of 24 points that they can they can get, and because they have 17 points already, if they have an extra 24 points, they have 41. And with 41 points, they can get out the relegation zone. And also, in their 8 games that they have to win by at least 5 goals. So they can beat Burton on goal difference. So, basically, Rotherham are relegated.